Welcome back, legends and legendates. I hope you had an amazing Christmas and a happy new year. This year is going to be different. And let's be perfectly honest with ourselves. That's exactly what you said in 2023. And how did that work out for you? And so let's make an actual promise to have some good habits. It's very easy to wish to be profitable and achieve your dreams through trading. But actually achieving it is a completely different strategy in itself. And so this year we're going to make a couple of changes. Why don't we actually link bad trading habits to negative consequences, to actually condition ourselves to avoid making the same mistakes again and again and again. Whenever you have a new year, you have an actual unique opportunity for a reset. And let's really use this for our advantage. And so for example, let's link our bad habits to negative consequences. So we actually condition ourselves to avoid making the same mistakes over and over again. A lot of us traders particularly, some of the things that we deal with is FOMO, revenge trading, not being patient, especially when there's no trade set up. So why don't we say, for example, if we don't follow our trading plan, how about we say there's no more trading for the rest of the day as a negative consequence? Because this is obviously an undesirable consequence. Another option might be, if you don't follow your trading plan, maybe you over leverage yourself. Why don't you say, if you do that, you will take 100 push-ups every time. And this way you just keep conditioning yourself to not doing this bad behaviors, which is ultimately toxic for yourself. As humans, we're actually risk averse. Fear is actually a stronger emotion than greed. For example, if someone says, I want a six-pack because it'll make me look good, but then person two will say he needs to get a six-pack, otherwise there's a gun to his head, which will get triggered. Person two is actually more likely to get a six-pack because of the fear of getting hurt by the gun. So obviously that's a very extreme example. But we always say this year is going to be different. But it's just so important to actually consider how actually will it be different for trading. Because if you keep doing the same thing, 2024 for you might be exactly like 2023. And this is just a short little trick, a cheat code, which will really change your life in trading. And it's just to highlight how it's important to really track the trades and record them. It's like, for example, if you're trying to lose weight, you would track your macros. We always have that cheesy quote of it takes 10,000 hours to master any skill. And of course, that is true to some degree. Of course, mentors are needed as well. But ultimately, if you aren't tracking, you are slacking. And I always say that math is the most important thing. Men lie, women lie, but numbers don't. And so it's important to record your trades as well, to really not take pointless setups. Also for this year, 2024, is to realize that overconfidence is just so destructive. And you have to remember that even if you have a string of successes, it's important to keep innovating. For example, we had the Blockbuster versus Netflix. Initially, Blockbusters was the king in this video space, but then Netflix slowly innovated. They started sending videotapes by post, and Blockbuster ignored them. But the Netflix just kept innovating, and Blockbuster was kicked out of business. So let's make ourselves a promise for this 2024 year to keep innovating in our trading as well. And also for 2024, I want you to consider that all advice is really theoretical until it's applied. A generic advice people say is, oh, to be successful, you have to wake up at 5 a.m. or 6 a.m. in the morning. Of course, that can work for some people, but often it is just anecdotal advice based on a person's specific experience or not specific context. For me personally, I want at least 8 to 9 hours of sleep. I can't wake up usually earlier than 7 a.m. or 8 a.m. because that really affects my biology and I can't focus for the rest of the day. And so you need to understand that whether you wake up at 5 a.m. or 6 a.m. or 7 a.m. or 8 a.m., it doesn't make a huge difference. It all really depends on you and you have something that works best for you. And not everybody is the same. But these are just some short secret sauces and cheat codes for you to really crush 2024 together. So let's really make this year different and crush 2024 in terms of trading.